Hi, I'm Mack, and I'm on a mission to see the hurting get healed and the healed go out and heal others, in order for all of us to experience the true love and light we desire. This podcast is me sharing my journey with you, so you don't feel alone in your journey. Welcome to the Golden Rule Revolution. Hello, brothers and sisters, and welcome back to another episode of the Golden Rule Revolution. I am Mack, and it's such a pleasure having you join today. How are you? I hope you are blessed. I hope you are growing in love and light, because there is so much to grow into right now. Someone reached out to me and asked me to do a podcast on courage, how to have it, what is it? And it was perfectly timed request. It was a perfectly timed request because I believe courage must increase right now inside you, inside society. And what is courage? Courage is being afraid and yet doing something anyway. It is overcoming. It is pushing through. It is piercing the veil of fear to find that love is on the other side. I define vulnerability as having the courage to experience love in its purest form. Meaning vulnerability is not weakness, it is strength applied to drop the armor, stand there, to face that which I have been afraid to look at, say, speak, do, and walk through and realize that the veil of fear is so thin, but it's opaque and you cannot see through it. So dense, you cannot see any light through it, but it is so thin that you could almost breathe on it and pierce the veil of fear. However, most people see that there's no light. It seems so pitch black dark that we hunker down, we hide, and we avoid. But courage says, I want love more than I want to stay in this position of fear. I want freedom more than anything else, staying in this confined state of hunker down. I want truth. I want goodness. I want beauty. Therefore, I will find the fortitude, the grit, and the courage to rise up, look at that which I am afraid of, and walk through. And what do we experience on the other side of the fear? We experience unconditional love, the fulfillment of our divinity, light, beauty, wisdom, empathy, compassion, understanding, perspective. But what's on the side that many are on right now? It's confusion, darkness, division, self-loathing, hatred, death, fear. All these things exist on the other side of this veil of fear, and we must have courage to face that which we're most afraid of, step through the fear, and then when we come to the other side, release it all. And from my own experience of what I've gone through, what I've done, my life, the journey, all the darkness and codes that I've had to break, the trauma, the chains, the pain, all the things that I've had to do to heal and come to this now moment, it has taken a lot of courage. And yet the more courageous acts that I do, the more self-love I have for myself. When I wasn't acting in courage, I didn't have as much self-love. So I believe courage directly correlates to love of self. If you see someone else do something, we call them a hero, something courageous, we call them a hero, and we have love and adoration for them. And yet we've forgotten that we get to be our own heroes. We get to be our own courageous liberators of our own souls before we can ever go and help another be liberated from theirs. You see, we are who we are searching for. But it's not on the side facing the fear. It's on the side on the other side of fear in the light. And so I want to read a couple quotes right now of I think, some very profound quotes on courage from amazing people throughout ages. And the first one that I have in my garage, that every time I enter my house, I see this. It's a sign that says, by Winston Churchill. He said, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts." As someone who attempted to take my own life and cease to continue on, and then it not happening, and me living with the realization and the complete, utter renewing of the context that I was living in, it took a lot of courage to step back out, try new things, explore. But the more I did, the more I found grounding in myself. The more I did, even if I heard from the religious narrative, oh, that's satanic or new agey, or oh, they're going this, it's like, well, that's still all based in fear. So the more I did courageous steps to seek truth, to seek love, to seek beauty, to seek goodness, to seek freedom and the liberation of myself, the more I felt so much self-love. Then I was not worried about, well, am I doing the right thing or the wrong thing? I knew I was doing the thing that liberates me. Therefore, there is nothing else but that for my existence. So it's courage to continue that counts. Here's another great quote by Coco Chanel. "The most courageous act is still to think for yourself aloud." To speak, to utter, to stand firmly planted in your feet, look someone else in the eyes and express that truth, that knowing, that even attempt at finding oneself. That is courageous. You see, most people are afraid to say the wrong thing, but they don't even know what the wrong thing is because they haven't yet tried to find the right thing to say. And as we step forth and realize that this whole experience on this earth school in this three-dimensional plane is just practice. All this is practice. Yeah, will you get it right sometimes and wrong other times? Sure. Why? Who wouldn't? Why not? It's all about learning, so that when we missed the swing, as the I don't know why I'm using a sports metaphor, but it feels appropriate right now. As the ball is coming to the plate and you're standing there with the bat, you might swing and miss. Great. But when you swing and connect, how good does that feel? You know it feels good because of the times you swung and missed. So it's courage. It's courage to keep swinging. It's courage to keep exploring, finding, seeking, consuming, and uttering your truth. Here's another quote that I think is fantastic. William Faulkner said, "You cannot swim for new horizons until you have courage to lose sight of the shore." You cannot swim for new horizons until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. When Douglas MacArthur led the Navy and led the U.S. troops, the Allied troops in the Pacific, he told them to burn the boats, to sink the ships, that they were going to go take this island no matter what. And that takes a lot of courage. It also creates no out, that you are fully in. You are engaged. Those soldiers were engaged to take that island. And that war story can also be applied to your own personal life. You don't have to resonate with the war. You can understand that the battlefield, the opportunity zone that you are embarking on might be to break away from a family structure, might be to break away from a religious structure, might be to break away from a relationship. Whatever it is, anything that keeps you from speaking your truth is where you must go forth and go through. When I gave my TED Talk, Breaking the Cycle of Child Abuse, I was afraid for my life, literally, not hyperbole. I was truly afraid that I was going to be killed for giving that talk. And a friend and coach at the time, still friend, coach at the time, said, I told her about this. This is the week before when I'm flying to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to give this talk. And I said, I'm really afraid, deathly afraid that I would be killed for giving this talk. And when I was in high school, I'd play basketball all the time. I loved playing basketball. I had a court in our backyard and I'd shoot hoops all the time. And I remember specifically having this recurring thought that if I was a great military leader and I inspired all these troops and I got all these troops ready to go advance in the field of battle, immediately I'd be the first one sniped and shot, and I died. It was like all this momentum and boom, I'm out. And I told her this and I said, this feels like that moment for some reason, that daydream or memory or some thought kept coming up as it came up when I was in high school. It was coming up as a 38-year-old man, father of 3 and husband. And she asked me a very powerful question. She said, what happened to the troops in your memory after you died? I was like, what? It's like, I don't know. I've never thought about it. She said, well, think about it. This inspiring leader gets taken out. Do they quit or do they charge even harder? And I said, they charge even harder. She said, so was it worth it doing what you're doing to see what you want to see fulfilled happen? I said, yeah. And she said, would you give your life for it? I said, yes. She said, so? Is the message you're delivering on the TED stage something you would give your life for? And I had to count the cost. And I said, yes. And I stood on that stage and I delivered those words so that every single person, whether you've experienced abuse or not, we've all experienced forms that restrict our fullness, restrict our beingness, restrict the expression, the fullness, the abundance of that which we have come into this world to express. So it could be physical, it could be emotional, it could be apathetic, it could be indifference, whatever it was restricted us. And so I gave that talk for every single person to say, in order to be free, we must become vulnerable, take the mask off. And I define vulnerability again as having courage to experience love in its purest form, and then face that which we're most afraid of. Look in the eyes of that which we're afraid of dying, afraid of living, afraid of judgment, afraid of family, afraid of speaking, afraid of whatever it is, to get planted firmly into this earth that we are part of, that we are held by, and look fear into the face. That is step number 1, is to look fear, pain, judgment, worry, isolation, rejection, loneliness, despair, dread, look it in the eye. And then the second step, speak your truth. Let it rip. Hold nothing back. Even if you say the wrong thing, you have to face your fear of judgment. Stand there and utter and speak, for out of the abundance of the heart, your beautiful, loving, warm heart, out of the abundance of your heart, your mouth speaks. And if you don't like what's in your heart, you have to speak it out to get it out so that you can create space to receive more. And what are we receiving more of when we remove fear, when we have courage and step through and release fear? We create space to receive love. And that's what the third step was, is to release fear, release pain. You don't have to carry it any longer. Let it out. Politics, let it out. Vaccines, let it out. Whatever dread of the future, a meteor coming to the planet, let it out. Whatever it is, fear must be released in order for all of us to receive love and courage, grit, determination, fire. This is just as much part of the divine as love, present moment, peace, divinity. There are two sides to light. There's consuming and there is emitting, because light is based in fire, and fire consumes and emits at the exact same time. And most of us are always searching for, most of humanity has been searching for the receiving part, like the fire, just take me, take this, take this, take this. But divinity says, no, you have to emit. You as fire, you as a light being, you as a light warrior, a light worker, a light divine spark in this beautiful existence, placed in darkness, told to shine forth brightly. And instead of looking out and saying, where is the light? You look within and be like, wow, this light inside me is so bright, so beautiful, so divine, so pure, that any expression of me in this realm of darkness on this side of the veil of fear, which remember is so thin you could breathe on it and pierce it. Any experience of your divine light on this side of the veil is just for you to remember how bright you are, not to avoid, hide, hunker down, run away from, but to look at yourself and be like, wow, I'm so bright. You are so bright, my dear friend, my dear brother, my dear sister. You are so bright. So look at yourself. Be courageous. Stand in front of that which you're afraid of. Speak that which you are afraid to speak, and step through and release. So on the other side of that thin, deceptive veil of fear, you enter the new earth. You enter the 5D world. You enter heaven on earth. Our Father, which art in heaven, the masculine energy of source, which is giving. Remember, feminine energy receives, masculine energy gives. So our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy will be done. Love's will, love and light's will be done. The will of love be done on earth as it is in heaven. We bring down the heavenly realms, which we actually have come from, because we are part of that heavenly realm. We are part of the breath of God. We are part of the soul, the breath, the light, the fire, the warmth, the love. That's what we are, brought down into this darkness on this side of the veil to experience all that we are, so that when we step through, we realize this is how you bring heaven down to earth. This is what you, my dear one, you get to step into. Courage, feeling fear, being afraid, and doing something anyway. And I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up that the highest award that we can give a soldier in the field of battle is not the Congressional Medal of Honor for being fearless in the battlefield, but for showing courage in the battlefield. The person that says, no fear, I have no fear, no fear, they're actually so checked out of reality that they're typically a dangerous person to be around. But the courageous person is aware of reality, aware of the surroundings, aware of, this is just not serving me. This is not fitting. This is not right. Something is off. And you know it's off because you're a courageous soul. Now it's time to liberate yourself. Be an example. Step through that veil of fear. Have courage. Find the grit. Find the fire. Dig down deep to the very essence of your being and step through so that you can release all that no longer serves you and receive all that does. This, my dear brother and sister, this, my dear friend, is what courage is. I want to find another quote here that I find. Roomie the wise, Roomie the wonderful, as I like to call him. He said, don't be satisfied with stories, how things have gone with others. Unfold your own myth. Don't be satisfied with stories, how things have gone with others. Unfold your own myth. Become your own hero. Become that which you've always sought. Inside you is the expression of all that is. And if you are not letting it out, it is time to let it out. It is time to let go of these 3D world of division and lies, media and confusion, religion, labels, all these things which no longer serve you, me, or humanity. And if they don't serve you or I and humanity, they certainly don't serve all creatures in all timelines and dimensions, all beings in all timelines and dimensions. I was talking to someone the other day that God created man in his own image, mankind. This human species is the only species in all existence that was made in the image of God, made in light, placed in darkness, so that when we wake up to the light we are and shine, everyone celebrates. Everyone in every timeline dimension, past, present, future, other beings, higher dimensional beings, they all celebrate. Here, the awakening of the light within the darkness is shining forth, and everyone rejoices. It is time that you get to really be the most courageous person that you know. Step into that. Heal your generational lines, heal your ancestral lines by doing the work yourself, being the most courageous, vulnerable person that you know, speaking boldly with courage and intention on the other side of that veil of fear. So this is the message today. I bless you all with the love of the Most High God. If it triggers you, cool, sit with it, let it land, let it not. But I bless you with so much love and light. Be free, dear one. It's time. I'm Lucas Mack. This is the Golden Rule Revolution. I bless you all, and I'll talk to you on the next episode. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for listening. For support in your journey, go to my website, lucasmack.com.